Shalom, shalom. Giving all praises to Yah, the creator of the universe, by saying hallelujah. I just want to thank Yah for blessing me and my family to see another day of his beautiful creation, allowing us to good health and strength, by saying hallelujah. And today we join, not only my wife, we're doing the reading, but I'm joined by my son for this Holy Shabbat day. And just want to give all praises to the Creator by saying, Todah Yah.
Hallelujah.
We want to look at Jeremiah chapter 10 in verse 1 and 2. Because we in a season where, the people are getting caught up in all these holidays that, the Creator told us not to be concerned with. Well, look at Jeremiah chapter 10 and read verse 1 and 2.
Hear you the word which Yahweh speaks unto you, O house of Israel. Thus says Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them.
So Yah told us not to learn the ways of the heathen, for the heathen are dismayed at the signs of heaven. And we know what the signs of heaven are when we go back into Genesis, the first chapter, and we'll be able to see what the Most High said was the signs of heaven, And let's look at that in Genesis. Let's see what the signs of heaven are, because we may know what the signs of heaven are, but some people may not know what the signs of heaven are. We want to look at Genesis chapter 1 and look at verse 14. So we can see, so we can show the people what the signs of heaven are. Genesis chapter 1, verse 14.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 14 says, And Elohim said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night. And let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years.
So y'all said, let these lights be for signs, seasons, and days and years. Keep reading.
And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so.
Mm-hmm.
And Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night.
And we know what that greater light is in the day, which is the sun, and we know what the lesser light is in the night, which you have the moon and the stars. Keep reading.
He made the stars also. And Elohim set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good.
Okay, that's good. So we see, when we go back to Jeremiah 10, and when the Creator tells us not to learn the way of the heathen, for the heathen are dismayed at the signs of heaven, and we went back to Genesis 1 and started at verse 14, and we came down about verse 18, we see what the signs of heaven are. So what it's showing you that the majority of the heathens, they are worshiping either the sun, the moon, the stars. Their religion is based on these signs. Whether they're worshiping the sun, whether they're worshiping the moon, or they're worshiping these stars. And the Most High told us not to learn the way of the heathen. When you look at these heathen religions, and when you do some extensive research, it's going to go back to what Yah told us not to do in Jeremiah 10, which is all go back to the signs of heaven. And Yah said that, go back to Jeremiah 10 and read me verse 1 and 2 again.
Jeremiah 10 verses
1 and 2.
Okay. Hear you the word which Yahweh speaks unto you, O house of Israel. Thus says Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Okay. You want me to
Keep reading.
For the customs of the people are vain. For one cuts a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten with nails and with hammers that it moves not. They They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must need to be carried because they cannot go.
That's right. They have no legs. They can't speak. They can't walk. You know, and when you look at these symbols and these that what you just read about in Jeremiah 10, what holiday did you think that associate with what you see there? Remember now, Yah said that in the book of Ecclesiastes. He said there is nothing new under the sun. You know, and these people, they're going out there. You see, they cut this tree down and they bring this tree into their home. They decorate this tree. You know, they do all this to this particular tree, but the Most High told us not to do what? Learn the customs of these people. Also, when we look at this day that they just got through with Thanksgiving, when you do extensive research on Thanksgiving, it's dealing with the slaughter of the Native American people that was here. And when you do extensive research, some of these people are people that they killed out. So when they talk about this day called Thanksgiving, what you're really honoring and worshiping is the slaughter of people.
It was a genocide.
It was a genocide, correct. Mm-hmm. So my thing is, what if they made a holiday and they said we're going to honor or we're going to give thanks to the day that we brought slaves over here on the slave ships. We raped the women. We took the babies and fed them to alligators, and we hung the men up. We castrated them. We broke some of the men with homosexual acts. We're going to make this a holiday, and we're going to honor and worship this. How would you think a lot of our people feel? They'll be like, man, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. Well, that's what you're doing when you honor Thanksgiving. You're giving honor and worshiping a day that was genocide. And that's why the Most High tells us, learn out the way of the heathen. For the heathen are just made at the signs of heaven. But not only are the heathen are just made at the signs of heaven, the Most High don't want us to learn no kind of customs of the heathen. Look at the book of Proverbs 3:25. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 25 and 26. Because we live in a day and time now where people are caught up in a lot of things that are not of the Most High. They're not of Yah. And so we have to be very careful. Okay. Proverbs chapter 3. Look at verse 25 and 26. What does it say?
It says, be not afraid of sudden fear, neither of the desolation of the wicked when it comes.
The Most High said, be not afraid of sudden what? Fear. And what you think going on right now? A lot of fear going on now. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of fear going on. There's a lot of uncertainty because of the pandemic that's been put out there. You know, this virus that's been put out there. You know, whether it was man-made, but we know at the end of the day, Yah controls all things. Mm-hmm. Yah say he controls the good and the evil.
Yep.
You know. So Yah told us, read that again in Proverbs 3, 25 and 26.
Be not afraid of sudden fear.
Yah said, don't be afraid of sudden fear. Keep reading.
Neither of the desolation of the wicked when it comes.
So Yah don't want us to be afraid of sudden fear. A lot of people are so afraid, they scared to go around people, they scared to shake people's hand, they so afraid. But you say you trust in the Most High. But the Most High told us in Proverbs 3 and 5, what does it say in Proverbs 3 and 5?
Trust in Yahweh with all your heart.
We're supposed to trust in Yah with all our heart, no matter what virus come up on the earth or what sickness come up on the earth. We should still continue to put our trust in who? Trust in Yah. Keep reading.
Lean not unto your own understanding.
Yah said, don't lean to your own understanding.
In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths.
In all our ways, we should acknowledge the Most High, and he's going to direct our paths. So the Most High don't want us to be fearful. Look at Proverbs 18 and 10. Don't be fearful of what's going on. Because my thing is this. What is being fearful going to do? The Most High Yah does not need the coronavirus to take you out of here. When your number is called, you could just go to sleep and don't wake up. Mm-hmm. Y'all don't need the coronavirus to take you out of here. So what are you afraid of?
Y'all don't need no help, period.
That's right. Y'all don't need no help. You can walk down the street and y'all can suffocate, have an aneurysm. So don't be afraid of the coronavirus, because the Most High don't need the coronavirus to take you out of here. Read Proverbs 18, verse 10.
The name of Yahweh is a strong tower.
The name of the Creator Yah is a strong tower.
The righteous runs into it and is safe.
The most High said, the righteous run into it and safe. And see, we live in a day and time now, especially this season here, where you got a lot of people, they get caught up in these days, they get caught up in these man-made days, and you got a lot of witches from October, with the Gentile month of October, up until December, what they call, you got a lot of witches. They come out of the season because this is their time, what they consider their time of the year. A lot of people. That's why the Most High told us in the law, don't suffer what? A wish to live. Proverbs 26, verse 27.
26.
So we don't supposed to learn the way of the heathen, for the heathen are dismayed at the signs of heaven.
26 and 27.
Correct.
Whoever digs a pit shall fall therein.
The Most High said, whoever digs a pit shall fall what?
Therein.
Therein. Was that all of that?
No. And he that rolls a stone, it will return upon him.
The Most High said, he that rolled a stone, it's going to come back on him. Mm-hmm. You don't have to worry about folks. Don't be afraid of these witches. Don't be afraid of these people in the dark doing their little seances and all these things. The Most High said, when they call themselves digging a pit for you or rolling a stone for you, the Most High said, it's going to fall back on their heads. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to give you an example of, see, a lot of time when you're dealing with people, especially bad when people know or they've been taught the Creator, law, statute, commandments. And the Most High said, when they walk away from here, they go off into all these deep, what it say, a dog returns to what? His own vomit.
Yes.
But the Most High, this is speaking to the witches out here. The witches, the warlocks, all these people that are caught up in thinking they got some power, or they're seeking power through another source other than the Most High. See, the Most High said there's nothing new under the sun. Everybody wants to go around the Creator to receive what? Power. But they don't understand that the Most High is the power source. Look at Isaiah 45, 22 and 23. That's what the Most High said. He said he's going to make everybody bow down to him. Isaiah 45, 22 and 23.
45, 22 and 23. Look unto me, and be you saved, all the ends of the earth. For I am Elohim, and there is none else. I have sworn by myself, and the word has gone out of my mouth in righteousness, and shall not return. Mm-hmm. That unto me every knee shall bow, every tongue shall swear.
The Most High said, every knee gonna bow to him, every tongue gonna do what?
Swear.
Swear. Mm-hmm. See, every knee gonna bow, and every tongue gonna swear. And this is what you're gonna see. Look at Jeremiah chapter 1. And we're gonna look at verse 10. Jeremiah 1 and 10. The Most High gonna make all these people that into other things in this darkness, the Most High said He's gonna make them bow down to Him. Jeremiah 1 and look at verse 10.
See, I have this day set you over the nations and over the kingdoms, to root out, and to pull down, and to destroy, and to throw down, to build up, or to build, and to plant. Keep going.
That's it. So, in order to plant the words of the Most High into the people, you have to destroy all of this. You know, it's like before a farmer can go out there and plant his garden, what do you have to do to the ground?
Till it up.
So you got to destroy that ground.
You have to get all the weeds.
You got to pull all the weeds out. You know, you got to Just destroy that ground. So the Most High said that before he can implant the words, his truth into people, you have to do what? You got to destroy those what? Those lies. You got to destroy Easter, Christmas. You got to destroy all these women in the church who ain't number witches and these men's. You have to destroy the witchcraft that is going on, especially in these churches. And especially the other women. See, a lot of women, not all the sisters. I ain't talking about the sisters in Israel. I'm talking about you got a lot of women caught up in witchcraft. They got people coming over, they form their little circles. They light their candles and they do all they little, whatever they do in the dark. And they don't think the Most High see all that. But I'm going to share something with you. I'm going to show you what the Most High did to a woman that was caught up in that kind of stuff. Let's look at, let's go to 1 Kings. We're going to look at 16 chapter 1 Kings. We're going to start at verse 27. You better know what you're dealing with. You think your arms long enough to box with the Creator? Because you off in this darkness? You don't want to listen when the Most High tell you to come out of these heathen practices? I'm going to share something with you. Let's look at 1 Kings 16, 27 through 33. When you get it, read it. 1 Kings chapter 16, verse 27.
Now the rest of the acts of Omri, which he did, and his might that he showed, are they not written in the book of the Chronicle of the Kings of Israel? So Omri slept with his fathers, and was buried in Samaria. And Ahab his son reigned in his stead.
Okay, we're going to see what Ahab did. Keep reading.
And in the 38th year of Asa, king of Judah, began Omri. Wait a minute. Okay. In the 38th year of Asa, king of Judah, began Ahab, the son of Omri, to reign over Israel. And Ahab, the son of Omri, reigned over Israel in Samaria 22 years. Mm-hmm. And Ahab, the son of Omri, did evil in the sight of Yahweh.
So he did evil in the sight of Yah.
Above all that were before him. Mm-hmm. And it came to pass, as if it had been a light thing for him to walk in the signs of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, that he took to wife Jezebel, the daughter of Ethbaal, king of the Zidonians, and went and served Baal and worshipped him.
See, the Most High told us not to even marry these people. You know, the Zidonians, because they was often the idolatrous practices. But you know what? Sometimes our people, they do things that against the Most High commandments. Keep reading.
And he reared up an altar for Baal in the house of Baal, which he had built in Samaria. And Ahab made a grove. And Ahab did more to provoke Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, to anger than all the kings of Israel that were before him.
Now you got to understand, when you're doing this, when you off into sorcery, necromancer, and talking to the dead, or dead spirits coming talking to you, you must understand that you're angering the Most High. You got some people say the dead spirits come to them and talk to them. Well, that's all goes against the Most High. Why the dead spirit bother you unless you offer to something you ain't got no business being to? So we see what happened. You don't want to fall into the hands of an angry creator. And this anger the Most High. A lot of people don't understand that certain things that you do can anger the Most High. And one of the things that you're doing to anger the Most High is continue to participate in these days that the Most High told us not to participate in. Matter of fact, you don't even involve going to these people's house eating their foods. I don't care if even your family members. I don't want no turkey and chicken dressing and all that mess during this season. I don't want that. And I'm not going to nobody's house that served that. I'm staying at my own house. I'm not going to deal with nothing that associates with these days. Why? Because I don't want to fall into the hands of an angry creator. Matter of fact, I'm going to eat something total opposite of what they're doing. I might eat me some Cheerios or something. I'm not going to eat nothing even similar to what people are eating during this time of the season. I tell my wife, we'll eat something else. We'll eat some fish or something. You know, my son, he'll make him a vegan taco. We'll eat something totally different. We're not going to eat nothing that's associated with this time of the season. Why? Because we don't want to fall in the hands of an angry creator. Keep reading. Or did you finish that?
No, it's 34.
No, you stop at 33. That's good.
Okay.
Now let's look at let's go to 2 Kings chapter 9. Read verse 30 through 37. See, you don't want to continue to be caught up in these practices that are dealing with witchcraft and all these other things that the Most High told us to don't do, because whether you know it or not, you're going to fall into the hands of an angry creator. 2 Kings chapter 9, read 30 through 37.
And when Jehu had come to Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it, and she painted her face and adorned her head and looked out at a widow out of a window. And as Jehu entered in at the gate, she said, had Zimri peace, who slew his master? And he lifted up his face to the window and said, who is on my side? Who? And there looked out to him 2 or 3 eunuchs. And he said, throw her down. So they threw her down.
Stop there. We're gonna come back to this chapter here. But go to 2 Chronicles 33, 1 through 13, because we're gonna set this up so people can see what happened to people that think that they can continue to serve into idolatry and don't think that the Most High going to deal with them. Look at 2 Chronicles chapter 33. We're going to come back because I want them to see at the final, at the finality, that they're going to see what happened to Jezebel. But we're going to set up first. Okay. 2 Chronicles 33, 1 through 13.
33.
Chapter 33, 1 through 13.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Manasseh was 12 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 55 years in Jerusalem, but did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh, like unto the abominations of the heathen, whom Yahweh had cast out before the children of Israel.
Remember what y'all told us, learn not the way of the heathen, Jeremiah 10. Keep reading.
For he built again the high places which Hezekiah his father had broken down, and he reared up altars for Balaam, and made groves, and worshiped all the host of heaven, and served them.
See, he worshiped all the hosts of heaven, just as people are doing today. Mm-hmm. They worship all the hosts of heaven. One thing about it, the Most High said, there's nothing new under the sun. Mm-hmm. And that's why you got to be careful what company you keep. And I'm going to tell you something. Now, this is not to say to all of the sisters, but I'm going to tell you something. There's a lot of women, especially our women, they are caught up in idolatry. Now, we're not talking about the daughter of Zion. We're talking about other people. They're our people, but they're offering a lot of other stuff. You better be careful the company that you keep. Because some people, they'll pretend like they're serving Yah, but in their hearts, they still got the idols in their hearts. And Yah told us, don't what? Have the idols what? In our hearts. Mm-hmm. Some people, they'll say, well, I don't do the holiday, but you still cook the food. Mm-hmm. Or you still go around your family members that cook the food that don't know the Most High. Either you're going to serve the Most High or you're not. I'm not going over nobody's house, whether it's a family member or not, that participate in these days. Because you should love Yah more than anybody. You should put Yah above anybody. And we should separate ourselves. That goes from family members. That don't mean you don't go around them at other times. But during this particular time here, you should separate yourself from family members that participate in these days. Continue to read.
Number 4. Also he built altars in the house of Yahweh. Wherefore Yahweh had said, in Jerusalem shall my name be forever. And he built altars for all the host of heaven in the 2 courts of the house of Yahweh. And he caused his children to pass through the fire in the valley of the son of Hinnom. Also he observed times and used enchantments and used witchcraft and dealt with a familiar spirit.
So you got people that the same thing going on back then, the same thing going on here. You got people that deal with familiar spirits.
And with wizards.
You don't think that you got people now, they make contact with the dead. People say, I don't believe it. I'm telling you, you got people today. They contacting the people, they can make contact with the dead. 2 Chronicles chapter 33. We're going to start at verse 6. We're going to finish this up.
And he caused his children to pass through the fire of the valley of the son of Hinnom. Also he observed times and used enchantments and used witchcraft and dealt with a familiar spirit and with wizards. Okay. And he worked much evil in the sight of Yahweh to provoke him to anger.
See, that's what the people don't understand. They are caught up in this stuff. They don't understand that you provoking Yah to anger. And one thing about it, you don't want to fall into the hands of an angry creator.
That's right.
Your arms ain't long enough to box the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
Keep reading down to verse 13.
And he set a carved image, the idol which he had made in the house of Elohim, of which Elohim had said to David and to Solomon his son, in this house and in Jerusalem, which I have chosen before all the tribes of Israel, will I put my name forever. Neither will I any more remove the foot of Israel from out of the land which I have appointed for your fathers, so that they will take heed to do all that I have commanded them according to the whole law and the statutes and the ordinances by the hand of Moses. So Manasseh made Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem to err, and to do worse than the heathen, whom Yahweh had destroyed before the children of Israel.
Let me tell you something. You see that today. Mm-hmm. Sometimes our people, they get more caught up in these days than the heathen do. Mm-hmm. Man, you watch when they have Black Friday, our people be in them lines, be out there fighting and grab these particular toys or whatever they got that's going on. It be our people out there. Mm-hmm. You know, we had just as, like I said, we had worse than the heathens when it comes to these days. We go, one thing about our people, if we're going to do something, we go big with it. Mm-hmm. You'll see our people, man, they'll put them these lights on their house. They put some of them got their lights on, had the lights put up on their house last month. I'm like, they can't wait. Mm-hmm. They put lights all over their house and their yards. See, our people, you know, when it comes to sinning, we're gonna do it big. Mm-hmm. We're doing worse than the heathens. Keep reading.
And Yahweh spoke to Manasseh and to his people, but they would not listen.
Just like our people won't listen today. You tell them, man, won't y'all come out of these days, these holidays, and Christmas and Easter and Thanksgiving. Leave these days alone. These days has nothing to do with the Most High. Then you tell them, come out of these so-called religions. You know, come out of these, y'all women, come out of these groups where y'all forming y'all circles and lighting these lights and praying in the dark and things of this nature. Contacting, you know, the dead. A lot of this is going on, but people don't talk about it, especially in these black churches. You go to these black churches, you got a lot of witches there. You got a lot of the men's off, and you got a lot of witchcraft going on. They reading them cards. What they call them cards?
Tarot cards.
Tarot cards. You got the tarot card stuff going on. And then you got people, they try to mix all the religions together. You got some of our people that caught up, they're trying to mix the Torah up with the Egyptian stuff. You got to be careful even with the clothes you purchase today. You got to be careful with the food you purchase. We have to be careful of everything that is going on and be aware. Anything that's not like the Most High, we need to leave it alone. Keep reading.
Therefore Yahweh brought upon them the captains of the host of the king of Assyria, which took Manasseh among the thorns and bound him with fetters and carried him to Babylon. And when he was in affliction, he sought Yahweh his Elohim and humbled himself greatly before the Elohim of his fathers and prayed to him, and he was entreated of him and heard his supplication and brought him again to Jerusalem into his kingdom. Then Manasseh knew that Yahweh, he was Elohim.
Okay, so he humbled himself. Now we see, and that's what people gonna, and you're gonna see the Most High do that today. Remember the Most High said in Isaiah 45, every knee gonna have to bow down to him. Some people the Most High gonna have to humble.
Through affliction.
Yeah.
Through affliction. You correct, through affliction. And some people y'all just want to take on out of here. It's like when we went into the wilderness, there was on a certain age group, Joshua and around this age group, they came out. It's going to be like that now. A lot of times, the older people, that people been, y'all done blessed to live a long time, they're not going to change. They're going to continue to do the things that they're doing. And when the Most High said that, the sins of the father go down to the third world, because the same lie that their parents taught them, they're going to continue to teach their children. Go to Second Chronicles 33. Did we read that already?
Yeah, we just read 2
Okay, First King. Let's go to 2 Kings 9, 30-37. Dealing with Jezebel. Jezebel, she was.
You said 2 Kings 9.
Yeah.
Okay, verses.
She put 30 through 37. She had a lot of the prophets afraid, put fear.
Okay, so we'll start over.
But we know what the Most High, but we know what the Most High said. We read earlier. The Most High told us, don't fear. You don't fear these people because they off in the darkness. You don't have to fear that, because at the end of the day, you put your trust in the Creator. Yeah, keep reading.
And when Jehu had come to Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it, and she painted her face and adorned her head and looked out at a window. And as Jehu entered in at the gate, she said, had Zimri peace, who slew his master? And he lifted up his face to the window and said, who is on my side? Who? And there looked out to him 2 or 3 eunuchs, and he said, throw her down. So they threw her down, and some of her blood was sprinkled on the wall.
Now, if you go back, we're gonna start. But if you go back and look at the prophet Elijah had prophesied that this was gonna happen to her. Keep reading.
And on the horses, and he trampled her underfoot. And when he had come in, he did eat and drink, and said, go, see now this cursed woman, and bury her.
See, she was a curse. See, a lot of times people don't realize that they cursed. When you off into other things that are not like the Most High, don't you realize you're cursed? She was cursed. Anybody else that are caught up in learning the ways of the heathen, you cursed too. But you pay attention to what happened to this woman. You don't want this to be your faith. But unfortunately, this is going to be the faith of a lot of our people. Because they won't turn from their wicked ways. They won't seek the Most High. So guess what? You leave the Most High no choice. But your own sin is going to find you out. Keep reading.
It says, and bury her, for she is a king's daughter. And they went to bury her, but they found no more of her than the skull and the feet and the palms of her hands.
How come they didn't find no more of her? Keep reading. You find what happened to her?
Therefore they came again and told him, and he said, this is the word of Yahweh. which he spoke by his servant Elijah the Tishbite, saying, in the portion of Jezreel shall dogs eat the flesh of Jezebel, and the carcass of Jezebel shall be as dung upon the face of the field in the portion of Jezreel, so that they shall not say, this is Jezebel.
See, the prophet already prophesied this was going to happen to her. He told us this was going to happen to you. And it happened to Jezebel.
And you know what? A lot of people always get their story messed up. You know, when you call somebody a Jezebel, they think it's because a woman wears makeup or something.
No.
That wasn't what happened with Jezebel. Jezebel had done a lot of evil.
She had done a lot of evil. She was off in the witchcraft.
Yeah.
And
she had a lot of people killed.
She had a lot of y'all's people killed.
Yeah.
They probably say that because most women, they got what they consider Jezebel spirit controlling, and it's about controlling. And that's pretty much what witchcraft is. It's control.
But yeah, people need to understand that, because you know how some people see a woman, oh, she Jezebel because she got on makeup. No, it wasn't even about that.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't even about that. It was about what she was doing.
That's right. It was about what she was doing, and that's why she was considered. That's what she got. And that's why when you study that story of Jezebel, you get to understand what she was off into. It wasn't because of what people think it was. Right. That story, because she was off in a lot of things that was not like the Most High. Right. She was off in. Remember what she said? She was a daughter of Zidonians. Remember, y'all told us not to even intermarry with people like that. And then what happened was, and you have to be careful with the company you keep. And then next thing you know, she was off into Baal worship, and then next thing you know, she married the king. Then next thing you know, he off into same thing with Solomon.
That's what got him in trouble.
That's what got them, led them down the wrong path. So the thing about it is, you have to be careful with people that you're dealing with. Anytime a person starts going off into the wrong way, hey, you're trying to cut that person. You got to separate. Because at the end of the day, you don't want this to be your what? Your faith. You don't want this to be your faith. You don't want to fall into the hands of an angry creator. Because anytime you are trying to seek power from other sources, then what are you saying? You telling the Most High you ain't what?
You ain't enough.
Y'all, you ain't enough. You got people trying to seek power all kind of ways. So what are you saying to the Creator? You telling that's a slap in the Most High face. Look at Micah chapter 5. And that's what I don't believe people understand this. When you keep dibbling and dabbling and stuff, you know what the old people say, be careful what you get into. Or like I said, be careful what you ask for. Micah chapter 5, and we're going to look at verse 12 through 15. See? And y'all not going to allow this to continue to go on. Y'all not going to allow these people to continue to deceive his people.
Skipping over.
Well, get to the book here, you want to.
There we go.
Micah chapter 5. And we want to start at verse 12.
Micah 5 and verse 12. And I will cut off witchcrafts out of your hand.
The Most High said he's going to cut this off out of our hands. Keep reading.
And you shall have no more soothsayers.
You ain't going to be no more soothsayers in our presence. Keep reading.
Your graven images also will I cut off.
Y'all going to, all this stuff that you will find so fascinated that you won't give up and all, the Most High said he's going to cut off all this stuff. It ain't going to be no more Christmas and Easter and all this stuff. When the Most High set up his kingdom. Not only is he going to destroy this, but he's going to destroy you too. Keep reading.
And your standing images out of the midst of you, and you shall no more worship the work of your hands. And I will pluck up your groves out of the midst of you, so will I destroy your cities. And I will execute vengeance in anger and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard.
Now you hear what y'all said? Y'all said he's going to execute vengeance and anger and fury upon the heads of the heathen. See, the Most High got it now where, see, you have to look at everything that's going on. You have to always understand that the Most High hands is controlling everything. So the Most High said, okay, how can I stop them from running out and serving these heathen days? Well, you know what though? I'm just gonna do a 3-week shutdown in some of the cities. See, I'm gonna try to, and you know what? And people gonna be complaining because they can't get to them stores. They can't get out there and buy little Johnny no toys, and they can't go out there and buy they pig feet and pig ears and all the other foolishness and filth that eat. See, the Most High said, okay, let me put a shutdown on seeking that stopping. But they're gonna complain. They're gonna find a way. These heathens gonna find a way to get around. They continue to observe these days. But we got to understand the Most High still in control. But in my closing, you see what happened to Jezebel. You see the fate that was going to happen to all the other people that continue to walk in the ways, not like the Most High. See, in our law, we kill witches. Y'all said, suffer not a witch to do what? Live. The necromancers, the soothsayers, those that have familiar spirits. And you got a lot of people nowadays got familiar spirit. And most of all these people that I just named, most of all of them, they call themselves religious people. So you have to be careful of spiritual. Watch these people that call themselves religious or spiritual. The enemy always try to cloak himself in some type of religion or some type of spirituality.
But what spirit are you seeking? And see, that's the thing.
That's true. But in my closing, we have to remember what y'all said. Learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. And let's continue to walk in the ways of the Most High. No matter what's going on, the Most High said, if you dig a pit for somebody else, you're going to fall in that same pit.
That's right.
You get a stone, and for somebody else, that same stone going to roll up on you.
That's right.
Whatever you put out there in y'all's universe, it always has a boomerang what? Effect. Evil and wickedness will never win over righteousness. I don't care what people think. Evil and wickedness will never win over righteousness. Shalom, shalom. Your friendship is not that important to me to lose out on my relationship with the Creator Yah. You should value nobody's friendship above the friendship with the Most High. Shalom, shalom.